Guys, we're all in the Glee Club. Can we move on?
Start your sublight engines. It's time for the RuPalp's Pod Race second anniversary special, the Zebby Awards. This is our first annual celebration of the best and the worst of Star Wars, the slays, the flops. We will be looking back on everything Star Wars that was released in 2022. We, the members of the Academy, will be bringing our nominations here today, and then we will deliberate and choose live here on the show. We will also be revealing the winner of the Audience Choice Award, Glup Shitto of the Year of 2022. So get really excited. My name is Claudia. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Kaludia Says, Kaludia Says. And instead of a gender of the week this week, I am bringing my presenter that I think should present an award at the Zebbies from Star Wars. And that is Cinta Kaz, who was our 2022, one of our first main character on-screen lesbians. And she will be a part of hashtag Cinta Sweep, which I will be proposing today. Cinta Sweep, she needs to be presenting and she needs to be winning. And I will be nominating her in almost every category. Vote now on your phones.
I'm Jess. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on social media at Kawaii Jessio. And the person I feel like would be a good like host or person presenting an award is Emery Canteros. I don't know. I think Emery, sweet little Emery, would have a fun time presenting an award.
I'm Noah. My pronouns are he, him. You can find me on social media pretty much anywhere at the Jewish Jedi. And the person that I would love to present some kind of award at the Zebbies tonight is, in many ways to me, she's a girl boss, she's a war criminal, she's mother to many, an enemy to equally as many. And that is Arihnda Pryce, the bob cut queen herself.
No. Because if she was presenting an award, like, I feel like it would be like, for the Oscars or something, it would be like best documentary or something like that. And like people wouldn't really be caring because everyone's pretending that they've seen everything. But then she comes on and everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck? I gotta see this.
The awards she's handing out are like mini Arihnda Pryce bus. Like instead for the little
she hijacks the award show. Because imagine you go up to collect your Zebby from the front of the room and then Arihnda Pryce is like, I didn't like those, I brought my own.
Sorry, it's not the Zebbies anymore, it's the Rindies.
What if she pulls the Moonlight La La Land switch and like reads it wrong?
You guys don't understand. You guys can clown her all you want, but she's only 4 awards away from winning an EGOT, okay? She only needs an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, and she can do it.
Hi, my name is Mel. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on social media at Melvin Culpa and on TikTok at Greco Rex. And I believe that, oh God, this is so bad. I don't know his name, actually, is the problem. Give me a second. I need to Google it. I initially had it, and then I forgot that his name is so general. Oh, God. Star Wars. Is it? Oh. Sorry. His name is Enric Pride. That guy from Rise of Skywalker. I just think he's the kind of guy that you look at and when you're at an award show and you're like, oh, he's a white guy. He definitely was in something I watched this year. He is IMDb bait.
Yeah.
When your mom sees him, she's like, what is he from?
Coining the term IMDb bait, that's legendary, because that's not just like character actors. Like, there's a lot of people who are very famous who are that.
That's me
well.
with basically any white person. So
same.
My name is Ollie. I use any pronouns. You can find me on social media at Ollie Fresh. That's Fresh with a PH. And there are some people that I would love to see present an award. And I feel like something that we haven't mentioned is that there's always at least a couple of awards that are presented in pairs. And for that, I am proposing Boba Fett and Fennec Shand presenting an award together.
I love that.
They would really give.
And their banter,
Yes.
a bit of banter. I think it would be great. I think they could do it. I think they would be wearing like nice complementary colors. They would look cunty. And they would do it.
I love
They would serve.
They play like an orchestral version of the Book of Boba Fett theme as they walked on to present the award.
They're like the Catherine Tate and David Tennant of Star Wars in a lot of ways.
Whoa,
Exactly.
yeah. I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah. I love that. So let's get into the categories. Our first category is Planet of the Year. You know, we travel to a lot of planets on Star Wars and see a lot of locales. And I guess I'll start with my nomination. Looking at just the shows that came out last year, that would be The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Tales of the Jedi, and Andor. My nomination for Planet of the Year is Tatooine. I know the girlies were fighting about this and that we were on Tatooine too much. And sometimes, yeah, it can be a little bit too much. But we were there in Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We were there in the Book of Boba Fett. We had some good times. We had some flop times. But all in all, like, I feel like it was the planet that defined so many of the big Star Wars moments of last year. And I feel like it was just very emblematic. Am I, like, partial to Tatooine? Personally, maybe not. But I feel like when I think about all the shit that came out, I'm thinking about moments on Tatooine. I'm like, you know, all those were in trailers, whatever. So that's what I'm arguing today.
I don't disagree. I think that there is a very good argument in saying, like, because Tatooine was just, by sheer volume alone, it was in probably one of the planets that we saw the most screen time of this in 2022, at least like screen time. So yeah, I do think that's a good suggestion.
Okay. Well, my nominee that I am presenting to y'all is one that, I mean, we only got a few episodes of this planet from a certain show, but like the time we spent on that planet was very impactful. Very slay moment happened. And this planet is Aldhani from Andor, because like the Aldhani arc of Andor is probably one of my favorites, and just the cool eye moment that happened at the end of that arc was very, very slayful. And before the Imperials came, I imagined that they had a very vibrant culture there. So it's a shame that we didn't get to see much of it. But like the moments where we did see like the native Aldhanians, I forget what they're called. I'm so sorry. The Aldhani people.
I think that, yeah, they're just the
Aldhani.
Aldhani.
The Aldhani, they were very interesting to me. And yeah. So that's my pick for Best Planet from 2022.
That whole planet's vibes were like really off the charts the entire time they were there. Like I don't know. One thing I love about Andor that will become clear, because spoiler alert, a lot of my picks for this evening are Andor related, is like, I don't know, there was just so much of like an established livingness to the planets, and Aldhani specifically, I feel like had a lot of like vibrancy to it that a lot of other Star Wars planets lack. Yeah.
I know I voted for Tatooine, but I will say also Aldhani is where we confirmed our first main character on-screen lesbians. Like, that was the planet it physically occurred on. So that's another win for the gays.
Okay, lesbian planet. We love it.
They also had those cool sheep with the multiple horns, and I thought they were fun, so
I'd hang out with them. So the planet that I've chosen for Planet of the Year this evening is also from Andor, and that planet would be Ferrix. I really enjoyed, I think, every single scene that I got on that planet. It felt so, like, culturally vibrant, but also, like, were the vibes not off the charts every single minute the camera was on Ferrix? Like, I don't know. I loved how everything about it, like, meshed together. Like, it actually felt like there was a history present for the people who lived there. Also, the costuming, like, I don't know. I would live on Ferrix. I'd hang out there. I love bricks. I'm a really big fan of bricks. So I would be just thrilled.
And not a certain Dilf who lives there?
I was just going to say, Brasso, if you're listening, call me right the fuck now. Because, are you kidding me? First of all, he cleans up nice. He has a stable job. He really cares about other people. And he is like 7 feet tall and has shoulders as wide as a car. Like, what's not to love? Well, and he is on Ferrix, and that is another point for Ferrix, is that he is there.
Real.
I'll also say one of Sintakaz's most slay moments does happen on Ferrix, so I don't know why now I'm just making
come away from the window.
Oh, that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but yeah, actually.
Real. Well, here's the thing. I'm echoing Noah's sentiment. I also chose Ferrix as my planet of the year, so that's double the backing for Ferrix.
Let's go Ferrix Nation.
I have something that was not seen on screen. My nomination is Irem.
Ooh.
So I bring that.
Not
no, well, because here's the thing. Spoilers for the Fallen Star. But where is Stellangios right now in the oceans of Irem? And we need to get a party together to save him. I'm hoping that if we can get this award for Irem, then we can, like, mobilize people and we can bring awareness. I digress.
You're literally in your Princess Diana era. Like, you're like winning awards and advocating for, like, an issue.
Yeah, I am. I better not go any underpasses.
For $1 a day, you can support the search for Stellangios.
R.I.P. Princess Diana, you would have loved Stellangios.
No, and you know what? Speaking of, you know what? Another planet that consistently has lesbian queens? Irem. And you know what else? Phase 2 of the High Republic. For those of you who don't know, Irem is a planet, and it is in a system with its, like, sister planet, Arihnda. Irem is like a water ocean planet. Arihnda is like a desert planet, and they've been at war forever. They were in Into the Dark. That's where Comex Master bid it on their moon, the Timekeeper moon. But I think that Irem was really cool, and Arihnda by extension, because so much of their conflict and so much of their history together was pivotal to Convergence, but has also been pivotal to the entirety of Phase 2 of the High Republic, and played important parts in Phase 1. I know we're not talking about stuff that came out in 2021, but I just want to give a little context. Also, like I said, consistently there are lesbians. Also, the people who are native to there have, like, green and blue freckles. That's slay.
Fantu Zen is from Irem.
Fantu Zen is from Irem, so I think we deserve to win on that alone. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you that, choosing Irem over Arihnda, because as someone who also has lived near the desert sucks. I'd rather be near the ocean.
I must make it so clear, this is no hate to Arihnda. I love Arihnda. I just think that Irem was in more things. Irem is also...
Zeri Alberon is about to cancel Ollie on the podcast.
And she can come for me. As soon as Stellangios perishes under the red rocks of Irem, as soon as Stellangios is Thalfire born, then I will, or Thalfire made, then I will be listening.
Damn, these are all really good choices. I'm like, you made a really good case for Irem.
Thank you.
Shit.
I mean, I will say personally, I feel like I'm fine with Ferrix. I think Ferrix is a really good option, but I do also like the argument for Tatooine, just because it was in so much.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you guys feeling?
I just realized, do we have anyone who is, like, recognized as the final arbiter of this vote? Because if we don't, I think it would make sense to have the person presenting, who opens up the category to actually, like, vote on it at the end. Or are we meant to come to, like, a consensus?
I think we're coming to a consensus.
Okay,
yeah, and we're 5 people, so we can't really tie.
I think I would say that. Yeah. Anyway, let's deliberate.
I mean,
I feel like we gotta go for Ferrix at least, because at least 2 people brought Ferrix.
Well, I would just like to advocate for Ferrix over Tatooine specifically because we've really spent an eternity on that planet. I'm like, that's not like necessarily like an issue, but I'm just saying that there's a freshness to Ferrex that I appreciate. There are certain people on Ferrex that I really appreciate. There is one person on Ferrex who I really appreciate, but that's not my motivation. That's not my only motivation. I do think it's just a really slayful planet.
You know, some members of the Academy seem to be really swayed by a pretty face.
That'd be me, babe.
No, but I agree with Noah in the sense that, like, yeah, Tatooine has been, like, one of the main planets of Star Wars for forever, and so it's often recognized all the time. It has, like, special, like, merch when Star Wars, like, oh, our planets, and Tatooine will always be one of them. But Ferrex is new, fresh. They're beating people over the head with bricks over there, like, specifically the stormtroopers, fuck cops, so I also will vote for Ferrex. Plus, Andor girlies will stick together.
Real. No, I completely agree. And to that same end, I think it's important to remember that this is the planet of the year, not the planet. What represented 2022? I think Ferrex.
I agree. I think beating people over the head with the brick made of the ashes of an elder of your community, that's very 2022. Are we in agreement? Do we want to officially present this award?
Yeah, I'd like to officially present the award for Planet of the Year to Ferrex. That threw the first brick at Stonewall.
Wow.
Yippee! Woo! That was so exciting.
Cool. I get to announce the next award, which is Best Character. So that's slay. So for Best Character, you know, of 2022, it could have been anyone, like books, comics, shows, just, again, so long as it came out in 2022. And for me, I want to present, there was, like, actually so many people where I was like, fuck, who should I pick? Because there was many slayful characters that came out last year, or were in something that was, like, that came out last year. So, but in the end, I think for Best Character, I am actually gonna pick my bestie, one of my besties, Axel Greylark.
How could I guess?
Oh,
I know Axel Greylark has his issues. I relate to many of those issues. But I don't know. I think he was a fun, funky, fresh little guy. Yeah, he did commit an act of terrorism. Spoilers for Convergence. But he, you know, was a very interesting character to me, and not just because I think he was a beautiful, beautiful man. So yeah, Axel Greylark.
Again, the Academy keeps being swayed by a pretty face.
Okay, but I think that we need to consider that maybe Character of the Year needs to be someone who would write diaspora poetry.
Also, he could write very, slayful poems or, like, stories about, I don't know, generational trauma. His mommy issues, I feel like, would make him a very good writer if he took the time to start writing his feelings out. Maybe, but his mom is also very hot, so I think he should win because he also has a hot mom.
Maybe if he had written his feelings down, we wouldn't be in this situation. Have you ever thought about that?
Maybe.
This is the most Jess thing ever, because Jess is always like, and what if I married your parents? Your parent, because they're either hot or have money.
No, but, like, I know his mom is hot, but I'd be like, I'll marry you, Axel. I can fix him. I can fix him.
Move over, Gella.
I also just, like, I have to speak out in support. Whomst among us has not been swayed by a pretty face or someone having a hot mom? These are very valid reasons to stand a character. Like, my favorite character of this year is not, in fact, is from the High Republic, but is from, in fact, Phase 1, and that would be Cantum Psy. Because really everything that they do, like, you want to talk about slayful? Cantum Psy has got you covered. They are near constantly giving. They have some of my favorite plot lines that I've gotten to see. Like, every single scene that they have in Midnight Horizon, I'm just like, I need more of you. But, like, I don't know. There's something very, I think, compelling about, like, the way that they discuss their emotions and their relation to the Force and their relationship with themselves that I'm just like, I'm super interested in, and I love whenever I get to see them. And yeah, go Cantum Psy.
Cantum was actually my runner-up. I was deciding between the character I'm bringing and Cantum, so I'm so excited that someone brought them because their presence in Midnight Horizon and in High Republic Adventures is just unparalleled. Like, they're a very different kind of Star Wars character, both in terms of how they relate to being a Jedi and how they are as a person and how they conceptualize the world around them, but also in terms of being a non-binary person of color and being so prominent. So it's very cool.
In terms of the pretty face competition, Cantum Psy is absolutely up on that pedestal. They're canonically very pretty to look at. Like,
I will say Cantum was also one of my runner-ups. It was very hard not to pick them. I could have actually picked a moment or element for Cantum for almost any category. Also, Galactic Bake Off came out last year, and that we didn't have most Slay comic of the year. I think we only did book. But that was what I would have nominated. Because Cantum being like, all right, let's get you back to bed, Grandma. It's such a great comic. And I also did, the stuff about Cantum in the scenes with Cantum and Yoda made me choke, cry, sob, throw up. Like, I went through something.
Right. So I also agree to that same end. Cantum Psy was a very close runner-up on my list. That being said, I'm going to bring someone who's not from the High Republic. I know this is a plot twist of the century. I am bringing Karis Nemec. I simply think that he embodies Star Wars. I feel like a lot of his vibe is just like he is hopeful for the sake of hope, good for the sake of good, and does that always work out for him? Evidence would suggest otherwise, but he's doing what he can, and I respect that.
R.I.P. King.
He also has pretty much the best monologue in almost all of Star Wars.
How many other bitches have a manifesto? How many bitches in Star Wars can say that?
Okay, Axel Greylark might have one, but I don't want to read it.
Next Zebby's is gonna be character most likely to have a manifesto,
but not in either a Marx way or a Unabomber way.
Are you saying Axel Greylark is Unabomber?
Yes, he is.
No, because the way that before Mel said that, I was gonna be like, can we clarify what kind of manifesto we mean? Like, who in Star Wars is Unabomber coded? Let's discuss.
Axel Greylark.
A little bit, yeah. He's in his Ted Kaczynski era.
He literally blew up a building.
Noah, who literally has not read the book, it's like, whoa.
I will also say I almost wanted to nominate the actor who plays Nemec for best performance because like he just fucking dies and he's never coming back, but he gave that fucking monologue like he better win an Emmy for that. Like he gave that monologue so he was like, I know that I'm about to change Star Wars with this, and he kicked ass with it. I think only second only to that is the Luthen monologue, which is also quite good. Damn, these are good choices.
It's time for me to bring us back to the High Republic. My argument for best character is Gela Natai. And you may ask, why do I bring her? Because she's 30 years old and she's a girl failure, okay? She's really going through it. When we meet her in Convergence, she's like, wow, my whole life is literally falling apart. And it's really, really a problem. And throughout the course of the book, she learns to value herself and to be strong in her convictions, as well as how to relate to other people in ways that she hadn't necessarily before, and how to interact with the world in a very unique way. And she embodies, I think she embodies what it means to be like a way to be a Jedi, because I think we have a very specific idea of how the Jedi are, and we always talk about like who embodies the Jedi, and I think that she embodies a certain type of Jedi where it's like she's not 100% sure of herself all the time, but she is able to make her own decisions, and she is able to say what is guiding me in the Force, and she has 100% faith in the Force. And I just think she's a really cool character, especially being like, I know 30 is not really old, but I think a lot of like fantasy and a lot of action stories talk about people who are like in their early 20s. So it was really refreshing not only to get to see a main character who's on the cover of the book be like an action hero, but also to see her go through this very common struggle of, what am I doing? My entire life path just got thrown off, and now I need to figure out where I am and what I'm trying to be and who I am, which is, I think, a story that is so commonly relegated to younger characters. So I think she represents a very interesting type of person. And if you vote for Axel Greylark over her, you are sexist.
No!
Damn, the woke left. I'm just gonna say, the 2022 in Star Wars was kind of the year of older people slaying in general. Like, we had the Book of Boba Fett, we have Boba and Finnick, and then we had Obi-Wan in his just middle-aged fucked up era. We just had a lot of older, and then we had Dooku having all his shit and Tales of the Jedi. Like, we had a lot going on.
The point that I'm making is that, like, I don't think 30 is old, and I think that a lot of the stories that we are told make people who are over the age of like 25 always are like, they're the older person. They're someone who's more like grown up and has their life together. They're always sort of a mentor figure. So it is nice just that we are reaffirming that, that we are sort of being like, it's okay to tell stories about people who aren't, teenagers, and people who aren't, young adults. And to be fair, outside of Star Wars, there are plenty. But I think it's something, especially with Gela, we get it specifically because we get so much of her, the inside of her head and how she thinks. We have characters like Avar and Elzar who are also like in their mid-30s, but like we don't get in their head as much as we do with Gela, and especially in Convergence, we get in her head a lot.
Yeah, I do gotta say that last year was a very good year for being an old person in Star Wars. Not that, like, necessarily old, like what Ollie is saying. But yeah, with Gela, and then also he was not nominated now, but Comac, like someone who is older than their 20s and not sure with what they're doing with their life, is very reassuring. Because yeah, life is a journey. Even when someone's further along, they're still trekking along on that journey.
So my nomination is a part of #SintaSweep. Yes, I will be nominating Cinta Kaz, one of our two first on-screen main character LGBTQs. I feel like I had to nominate her because, like, it was a big moment for Star Wars. Like, I feel like we didn't, like, hype it up enough that we were like, we got gay people. We got them in the major show.
We had the kiss in Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. But, like, and it wasn't just, like, a one and done thing. Like, they were central to the story, and specifically Cinta, because she's not appreciated enough. Where's my Funko Pop? And number two, because her stabbing a fascist in cold blood, it did something to me. Like, I went through something, and I think that, much like how we talked about how Ferrix was a pivotal part, as the world is falling apart, watching our first Star Wars on-screen main character lesbian, stab a bitch in cold blood when you're in Star Wars and she could just easily use a gun, but she was like, no, I'm pulling out a fucking knife. I was like, you know what? This is what I wanted. This is representation. Thank you. She's just everything to me. I mean, we've talked about her slay little outfits. You know, I mean, I could talk about Vel, but no, I want to talk about Cinta, and I hope we just get more into her backstory and stuff in season 2. I believe in them. I trust. And yeah, I just think she's character of the year because as gay people, I think we should all come together behind our number 1 lesbian of the year. I feel like she had to be nominated. Anyway, hashtag Cinta Swoop.
Wig. I will say this. Though I did bring Cantum Side to the table this evening, and I do stand them really, truly, and thoroughly, I would like to argue that Nemik is like the character of the year. I feel like, I don't know, there was something just like about his spirit and his whole vibe that I feel like really resonated, especially like within the last year. I was like, okay, he's quite slayful, and like including a character like him, like Mel was saying, that's hopeful for hope's sake, that's good for good's sake. I feel like that was one of the best parts of Andor, though unfortunately he didn't make it through the whole show, but perhaps one day he can come back.
Instead of Palpatine has returned, Nemik has returned.
If we can get Kino Loy back, we can get Nemik back. Let's be real.
For real.
Agreed.
He's like Valance now. He is, or like Fennec.
He's like Maul. He's got spider legs.
Okay, Valance, handshake, Fennec, handshake, Maul. They need to form a club.
What fucking club is that?
I don't know. It's a club where they beat each other to death with hammers.
It's a club called Was Worked On by Thundercat.
No!
When are we gonna get Thundercat and Bounty Hunters?
We don't know how much more is in Nemik's little manifesto, so we could have another moment where like you hear voiceover of Nemik and another slayful monologue on his part. So,
workers of the world unite! You have nothing to lose but your chains, etc., etc. No, I actually agree that like, despite bringing another character, as soon as you said Nemik, I was like, yeah, he kind of like, especially I remember when we watched it and like everyone watching was like, yeah, this embodies this is the Star War. Like, I mean, yeah. Although, I love Cantum so fucking much, so like, it's hard.
I mean, yeah, I agree also with what's been said. Like, Mel made me really go like, yeah, you're right. Maybe Nemik does deserve character of the year because of the points you made. But also consider, and if you don't vote for Axel Greylark, I'm going to be like, wow, I can't believe there's Asian hate in this podcast.
And you're gonna say that while Cantum Sai is literally Filipino and Japanese?
You're so true. So vote for either Axel or Cantum Sai.
Okay.
Or I will personally cancel you.
And Cinta.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry to Nemik.
All of the Asian the Asian girlies are fighting.
Vote for...
But also, I think voting for Nemik also supports
we
Mel.
got one white person to this entire conversation, and is he seriously gonna win? Because I'm a little worried that he is the problem.
I know. Listen. Oh no, sorry to Nemik. If I have to pick anyone besides Axel, I'm gonna pick Cantum Sai because Filipino non-binary solidarity between me and Cantum, and also I just really appreciated all of Cantum's story in Midnight Horizon and being the one to kind of help Comac in that situation. Also because that book, The Moments with Comac, get out of here, go run back into the forest. The moments with Yoda and Cantum made me happy as someone who, I'm sorry, is a Yoda enjoyer.
Okay, and here's my thing. I'm being indecisive this evening, but I will say this much re Cantum Psy. One thing I forgot to bring up that I enjoyed about Minute Horizon is that when they're talking to Comac, like, Comac's, like, into it in a really funny way. Comac is like, wait, but, like, what did you
next?
do? Like, I don't know.
Okay, but I would be the same. I would be the exact same, Comac.
No,
like,
I know, but I don't know something about, like, Cantum Psy's ability to be, like, a storyteller. And, like, also, like, Cantum Psy, so few of the other girlies in Star Wars are flirts. More of you need to be flirting like Cantum Psy is flirting, okay? I'll say that much.
More of you need to be edging canonically in Star Wars.
More of you need to be edging in Star Wars.
Okay, fuck Asian representation, fuck queer representation. Cantum Psy is edging representation. We need to support edging in 2023. I've switched my vote to Cantum for that reason.
Okay, so that's 3 for Cantum now. Well, kind of. Jess is like voting for any and all options.
No, I will vote for Cantum. I will give it to Cantum. I'm running off to the circus with Cantum Psy.
As a white person, I can't vote for. I wanted to vote for Nemec, but then I can't do it. Hashtag Zebby so white.
Oh Lord. I'll go for Cantum. Like I said, Cantum was my second runner-up. That's who I was thinking about bringing. So I will happily go into the night with them. I will say I would make an argument still for Nemec, but I think if the consensus is with Cantum, I am happily there.
The winner of Best Character of the Year is Cantum Psy. Congrats to Cantum.
Woo!
No!
Edging wins. No, okay, because one of the responses in the Glub Shido submission forms was it for Core or for Yana? I think it was for Core. And it was like Core Plouth in parentheses #love loses, and I think about that every single day.
Okay, so our next category for the Zebbies this evening is tracking what we believe to be the best performance of 2022. And I don't know, I wrestled with this for a while because there was really a lot of #acting going on in the shows this year. But eventually I did settle on Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen Rail because that gentleman delivered a #performance more than once on multiple levels. And I really enjoyed it. Like, one thing about Andor, they love a monologue in there, and I also love a monologue, as evidenced by the fact that I've memorized far too many of them. And his little monologue slayed. Like, it absolutely demolished, it cleared, it was magical. So I think he really gave the best performance of this year.
Stellan Skarsgård was also my best performance, so no.
Damn.
Oh wow. Well,
the way that Mel and I keep matching up on our decisions is really slayful to me.
Well, that's okay. I'm here as the diversity of this category, because my nomination for best performance is Adria Arjona as Bix Kayleen, because the scenes where she was like, she had this very like good energy to this character where she was not only a very serious person, she also felt like someone who lived in a community. Like, she very much it felt like she really got the character and got what needed to get across with her. She felt very faceted, very multifaceted, which I really liked. Like, you bought that she was very tender in certain moments and then very much a badass in others. And I will also add the like torture scenes, as they were just awful and harrowing. And I still think one of the most haunting scenes in all of Andor is when she is in her like cell looking out and singing as Marva's funeral is happening. I just think that is one of the standout performances to me, and I think it's often overlooked because there are so many good performances in Andor, but that one just stood out to me.
Damn, that's a good argument. Shit. Okay. Mine, I'm departing from Cinta Sweep once because we have not talked about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I would like to nominate Moses Ingram for Reva because I almost nominated Reva for Character of the Year because while I quite enjoyed the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I did feel like it was a bit unnecessary. There were some parts of it that were slay. There were some parts of it that were just mid. However, Reva was the best part. She's so iconic. She was so interesting. She really added I think she was also really great. Like the way she played off of Obi-Wan was really great. I liked their dynamic. Like they had the resolution of the story with the two of them was interesting. She brought a vibrance to this character that really was reminiscent to Trilla. The Inquisitors can really be very one note. They can be. And she was like, and her story is very much, it could be very one note of like revenge or whatever. And like, yeah, we also have the kid who also played a young Reva as well.
I was gonna say originally the second person I had for my best performance was Ayami Sludge, who played young Reva.
Yeah, because in essence, the timing for when the Obi-Wan Kenobi series came out was absolutely awful, and that it was right when there was a major school shooting. And then we saw it wasn't just that we saw Order 66, like we saw Order 66 from the point of view of a child. And then we saw like what that did to a person, and like we've seen Kanan and we've seen whatever, but like she was in the temple, she was amongst her community, whatever. And eventually this year we also saw what happened to Grogu, whatever, but like that was a puppet. No hate to the puppeteers, you're putting in the work, you're putting in the hours. I would like to mention Reva and I would like to mention Moses at this time. They did not defend her and they did not support her in the way that she needed to be. I know that Jedi Survivor was also being developed like kind of at the same time as this show, and so there really wasn't any idea that she could be in that game or whatever, but I think she should be, and I think she should be in everything, and I would like to see Moses again. And I think she really brought a humanity to that show when it really could have been just the greatest hits high ground game, nostalgia extravaganza that the rest of it really was. And she was just a highlight for me.
Yeah, Moses Ingram was my runner-up for this category. She gave a really, I feel like, multi-layered performance as a very complicated character. There were layers to her rage and there were layers to her sadness that I really like. I enjoyed seeing. I thought she was really good.
She was also my runner-up too, which is funny. I feel like we all have a lot of good things to say about Moses Ingram, so happy to hear that.
Y'all are picking some really good people and giving some very good arguments, so now I'm just like, damn. Like, I was actually going to pick Tem as Boba Fett. And I feel like he did a very good job. Temuera Morrison got the short end of the stick with his show, too. And also, again, in Mando Season 3, I know that's this year, but, like, the fact that they did not invite him back, even though they're like, oh yeah, we'll contact you, and then apparently they did not. So that kind of sucks for him. But yeah, I think just the Boba Fett, like, episodes are, like, the first couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett were very good, and I liked the layers of Boba Fett that we got to see, like, besides just the, like, cool bounty hunter guy. And I liked what Tem brought to Boba Fett's character of, like, trying to incorporate his Maui heritage. Maori, fuck, I can't words. But you get what I'm saying. I was, like, into Boba Fett's character, too. So, I don't know. So it really, I will never be over the fact that Boba and Tem got kind of screwed over at the end of his show. And I really hope that we can get some more Book of Boba Fett one day so that people can see Tem, who is a really great actor, like, shine more.
You make a very compelling argument because also Star Wars is also full of really good actors given absolute shit who just have to like turns fucking straw into gold, and that is what he did. And like there was so much behind the scenes on that show where he was like, yeah, a lot of this was me. And you like, I think that's also why like the Book of Boba Fett was also so infuriating because he had such an enthusiasm for it, and like he made the character he made the character interesting and stand out when he first appeared in The Mandalorian. Like I remember like when he pulls that line of the like, well, I think they would recognize me, whatever. Like I've never laughed so hard at Star Wars. Like he really like he brought a personality to a character who was a literal action figure before. And damn, that is a compelling argument. Shit.
I'm torn between Moses Ingram and Stellan Skarsgård. I really, really, really liked both of them in the shows that they were in, and I feel like it's so hard to like, I don't know, compare their performances because they had such different goals in mind as like what they wanted those characters to achieve. I'm very torn. I don't really know who I think deserves that more. I will have to reflect on that.
I would argue for Moses more, because even though I quite liked Stellan, only because Stellan could be nominated next year. There will be an Andor season 2.
This is true.
I do agree with that. I just think we need to keep in mind that this is a category for the best of the best. We have to maintain our integrity. But that being said, I do think when I think about Reva, I think about that scene in the end after she has been like, maybe I won't kill this child. And Obi-Wan is like, you can still like be better than this. Like, you don't have to do this. Like, that whole scene is just like, I feel like in the hands of not even like, not to say like in the hands of a worse actress, it would have just been kind of played. But like, because she had such a chilling performance, and again, because I feel like I keep saying like they got the role, but because she understood what needed to be conveyed, it's probably one of the most memorable parts of that show for me, quite frankly. So I'm having trouble going against Moses. And also I think Stellan was really good. I'm gonna say something controversial. I thought his monologue was just fine. Like, I didn't have this, like, life-shattering experience that I feel like a lot of people had after watching it. I was like, oh, that was good. I think just because he is, like, such a capital A actor that I was like, oh, this is just, like, a good performance. But I don't know. I feel like Moses' performance felt very, like, Star Wars to me, if that makes sense. Like, it felt like
Shakespearean. She gave a full a full Shakespearean performance.
I don't know if I agree with that quite nomenclature, but I understand. A very space opera. It was very, very space opera.
No one just made a face at me.
Oh, what else is new?
I made a face at you. I made a face at you when you said Shakespearean for the same reason that Ali said that they didn't agree with that nomenclature. However, I will also say, hashtag the monologue. The thing I love about that monologue is the delivery, but primarily it's the writing. Like, I think it's a very well written thing, and thank you for reminding me of that scene at the end of Obi-Wan, wherein Reva is like, "Have I become him?" Like through tears, collapsed in the desert. Like, yeah, I'm okay giving this award to her. I think that she deserves that.
See, yeah, I think I'll also give it to Moses Ingram as Reva because, yeah, you guys reminded me of that scene too. But I was torn actually between like, Adria as Bix because of what Ollie was saying with her performance when she was being tortured and locked up, because that was a very upsetting scene to witness, and she put her whole pussy in that because I really felt deeply for her in that scene. But also Moses also put her whole pussy into her performance, so I'm just like, oh damn, gotta pick between two queens. But yeah, I think I will give it to Moses's performance as Reva because she deserves it. She went through a lot. People were not nice to her, and she deserves the W because she gave a W performance.
She made that show have a point. Like,
I
feel like she was the reason that show was worth having. Like, that is the reason why I will look back on that show and say, even when because listen, I really liked, I liked the parts of that show. I didn't, like, not like it. But as Claudia said, like, it felt overall very, like, pointless to the universe. Like, it was not... It told a fun story about Obi-Wan and Leia, but I was like, it didn't need an entire show to do it. I'm like, her and Tala were like Reva was, like, the reason for the show. Like, quite frankly, I would have liked if the show to have been about her and Obi-Wan was in it, but obviously they're not doing that because Obi-Wan is the marketable one. And because, you know, the story they wanted to tell is about Obi-Wan, probably, not just because it's a cash cow, I'm sure, but, like, a story about an Inquisitor going from, I became an Inquisitor because I wanted to hunt down Vader, to then realizing that she has become him. Like, that is a very, very compelling narrative. And I think that, as I said, in the hands of an actress who is not as skilled as Moses, it would not have hit as hard. But it very much did, because of her. So yeah, I think we can, Mel, what do you think? Because I feel like you've not given your thoughts.
I've not gotten a chance to speak. I completely agree. I think that Moses deserves this award. And also, frankly, I'm gonna say two very controversial things. One, Ollie, I feel you so hard. The only thing I remember or even remotely give a fuck about the Kenobi series is Reva. Like, the only thing I've ever thought about that show in the nearly 365 days that have passed since that show premiered is her. Followed by, two, why the fuck is the Rise of the Red Blade book happening and not the Reva book? That's it.
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird.
Have we decided that Reva is the hashtag winner of the Zebbies? In that case, I'm thrilled to present Moses Ingram with the Zebby for best performance this year. They really gave. Now we've established that.
Period.
Love. Well, now that we've talked about that major serve, it's time to talk about the biggest flop of 2022. And here's the thing about this. We kept it kind of vague, so it can be basically anything that anyone construes. I think most of us, hopefully, kept in-universe type things. It's okay if we didn't, though. Here's my biggest flop. Kino Loy not knowing how to swim.
Yeah. That was
he drowned, actually.
He actually drowned, guys. Except for the fact that he did, because we know his ass is gonna be back next season.
Back.
What if he had those arm floaty things that kids have, and we just didn't see him put those on?
I think he just hopped on Ham's back.
I was just gonna say, didn't Ham die? I think Ham died.
Oh no! Ham might have died.
I think Ham is dead. I might be spreading misinformation on the internet, but I apologize. Anyway, he rode on Melchi's shoulders, and then when they got to the shallows, Melchi said, I have to go and, hang out with my new little boy toy. You're on your own,
I've got
kid.
boys to kiss.
I have to go climb up this 90-degree angle with my boy toy Cassian. Goodbye.
Damn, that feels so mean, but you do make a point.
It was amazing performance, absolute flop moment. So sorry, King. So now my biggest flop. Spoilers for Convergence. My biggest flop is Axel Greylark in prison writing Galanatai's name in his fucking food. Girl, you are down. For those of you, if you're not interested in Convergence, the spoiler is Axel does a very bad thing after the first half of the book, being allies with Gela and her friends. Then he does something very bad and in the end gets sent to prison, but he can't stop thinking about her. He's like, my Jedi Knight, and is writing her name in his fucking food and seeing her face all the time. Because he's down astronomically bad. It's embarrassing. Sir, you are a grown-ass man. Get a hold of yourself. Anyway, I do have an extensive AU where she's his parole officer. Anyway.
I almost nominated just Axel Greylark in general for this category, so I'm so glad you brought it up because he is the definition of girl failure.
No, because here's the problem. He's not even a girl failure. He's a boy failure, which is worse. Because a girl failure is like, okay, cunty. A boy failure is like, dude, you need to get your shit together ASAP.
I think it's really funny that he's like that. So I know I said earlier that I could fix him, but at the same time, I think it'd be funny to also just let him struggle.
No, I
want to make him.
I could fix him, but what's wrong with him is so much funnier.
Well, guys, I had a bunch of really good choices for this category, but something occurred today where I had to change my answer. My nomination for the biggest flop of 2022 is the Galactic Star Cruiser. Bob Chapek.
Help! Oh my god.
Oh my god, for context, we are recording today on May 18th. It has just been announced merely hours ago that the Galactic Star Cruiser is closing in September. Technically the flop, technically because it's closing this year, I could argue a technicality. However, I do think that because it was introduced last year and opened last year, that in and of itself was a biggest flop.
It opened and a lot of the canonical content surrounding it came out last year. Specifically, especially about the Galactic Star Cruiser that I think is the biggest flop, is that they wrote an entire novel, which I did enjoy, about Han and Leia's marriage and honeymoon that they tied to the Galactic Star Cruiser, which will now be closed. Which I think is one of the most flop things to ever happen in Star Wars. I think it's so funny. What else can I say?
That Ben Solo was conceived on a place that no longer is going to exist after November 30th.
No, it's so funny because also there's the Halcyon legacy and the Halcyon gets brought up in it's in the High Republic phase 1. The Halcyon is everywhere. What I had proposed this earlier in our group chat that I think that the movie with Rey that's gonna be taking place about 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. My proposition is that it is a lot like Light of the Jedi, where the Legacy run got exploded in the hyperlanes. That happens to the Halcyon, and Rey has to stop the emergencies with her little gang of Padawans.
The Halcyon Legacy emergencies?
Mm-hmm. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Rey has to channel her inner Avar Chris. I can't.
Avar Chris did it first and better. They're gonna flop because they don't have Kevin Tarr. I'm sorry.
That's so true. And this is a PSA. This is no hate to the people who worked on the Galactic Star Cruiser. I did hear that it was a wonderful experience. Wish anybody could have afforded to go. It was a flop of a concept just from the start because it was marketed as the Star Wars hotel when really it was a 2-day immersive dinner theater experience / escape room, which would be really cool if it had been a part of a whole Star Wars resort, because Disney has themed resorts, whatever, a whole Star Wars resort that then had this as an experience attached to Galaxy's Edge, whatever. It also, to be fair to them, they also launched it in the middle of a pandemic and also a recession where people have less and less money, but also just in general, Galaxy's Edge does many flop things where they're yeah, all of the fun things you have to pay extra for, and then also this crazy expensive hotel, quote unquote. And then the most flop thing that occurred involving the Galactic Star Cruiser was when Andor came out and everyone went, why do the rooms on the Galactic Star Cruiser look like the prison in Andor? And I think that's the floppiest thing that could happen. Anyways, I just think Defunct Land, I cannot wait to see the video.
I need to bring up the fact that Mel put in the chat, okay, wait, FNAF put on the Halcyon, because I think that's really funny.
Wow. When will Josh Hutcherson get trapped on the Halcyon?
With Matthew Lillard on the Halcyon?
POV, you're walking down the halls of the Halcyon and you hear
you see this freaking purple man, Matthew Lillard, on the Halcyon. He's not purple in the FNAF trailer, But Star Wars.
I just
he
thought
could
Five
be
Nights
purple
at
in
Freddy's.
Star Wars, not Five Nights.
I think
at
we
Freddy's.
made that exact joke on RuPaul's Pod Race.
Yeah, that is the title of an episode, like maybe not even like 10 episodes ago.
Okay, it's official. We have to end the podcast. We've officially run out of jokes. It's over.
RuPaul's Unfunny Race.
A joke recession, okay? We have to use what we have.
Guys, we can't even blame the writer's strike for this. This is bad.
As I said before, this award show is completely unscripted in solidarity with the writer's strike, so we apologize for the jokes absolutely bombing.
Well, that's the thing.
As opposed to our other episodes, which are scripted, and you're thinking to yourself, surely not based on the way they talk, but you'd be wrong.
No, our jokes are scripted, like fucking Loden's fucking taint.
Can I give a Zebby to Loden Greatstorm's taint, like an in memoriam Zebby?
No, okay, wait.
I was gonna say most flavorful experience, but that works.
No, it's my turn. So these are some good flops that have been presented so far, but the flop that I am bringing tonight. Oh my god, I forgot my flop. Maybe I was the flop all along.
You didn't write down your flop? Maybe this is the flop.
You see? Oh, I remembered my flop. Okay. My flop, I know for a fact will not get picked because I think I'm the only one who would think about this. But my biggest flop is those people who are chasing after young Leia in Obi-Wan Kenobi and cannot catch a small little child.
Oh my god, freaking Flea? Yeah.
No, because they really did flop. How are you guys not catching an 8-year-old?
They were
I
so
get
close,
they're nimble,
like,
but
every single time they weren't even like 2 feet away from her and could not grab her.
It felt like they were like her uncles that were like playing a game or something, but they were fully trying to kidnap her.
God, that shit was funny.
That's like, imagine you're like walking down the street and a van like slows to a crawl but doesn't actually like stop and do anything. It just like sits there like 4 feet behind you.
That's actually the thing. Vivian Lyra Blair is actually like a world-class ranked like sprinter. So it actually didn't look like she was going that fast because they used a special camera. But rest assured, like, she was actually beating Usain Bolt's time. She's just not old enough to qualify.
It's like, have you ever seen those videos where like the fans are going so fast that it's only like it looks like it's going slow because the camera's not picking up all the frames? That's what was going on with her.
Like a hummingbird's wings.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it my turn? It is, yes. Yeah. So my biggest flop of this year is every breath that Syril Karn took. Really, I tried to pick out like one moment where I was like, he really flopped here. And I just couldn't because it's also unilaterally bad. Although I will say, I loved the scene. He's at his lowest. His mother is making him a bowl of cereal. He has no job, no home, no friends, horrible clothing, and he looks like he hasn't showered in like 4 days. Oh my god, I dream about that scene. I wake up with a smile on my face when I think about that.
Syril Karn cringe compilation, and it's literally just every time he's on screen.
Literally.
I wanted to nominate him very badly because he was created to be the flop character. Like, he was my runner-up.
I shouldn't be.
Not only is he a flop, he also like he's a flop in every. Mel just said in the chat, Syril Vine boom.
That was him when they were like,
I'm just
so
saying,
why did
Syril
you?
Karn...
They're like, so why did you like go on this mission to find this guy? And he's like, he was a murderer. Boom. It's like, and then you can.
The thing about Syril Karn is like, not only is he a jobless flop, but when he gets a job, he's like, I have to join the police. I have to join the police. Like, he's so stupid.
I'm thinking about that like time when his mom was like being like, you know what your high collar says about you? That you're looking for attention.
Also,
you
he
don't
had
have
to get a job
confidence
from
in
his
yourself.
fun uncle.
Yeah, I can't be laughing at Syril because I'm also very Syril Karn coded.
Jess is Syril Karn. No, because you could never be as flop as he is, and I do mean that. Like,
Jess isn't waiting for a woman outside
that
of her
gentleman-
workplace. Like,
yeah. The way that Syril Karn too, oh my god, I love him so much. He always looks like he's on the verge of tears. Every single episode, Jess and I were like waiting for him to actually cry on camera, and he never did.
It was the Syril
broke my
Karn
heart.
crying watch.
The day that we get him shedding real tears, no, because I know he sobs like an 8-year-old boy that stubs his toe. I need it so bad. I need it where the water and air.
The tears streaming down his face, the snot bubble of him being like,
The way that if Syril Karn cried in front of me, I would bottle it. Oh my god, I would do that every day.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I think we can all agree what we do agree is the flop, right? Like I know we were talking about Syril Karn there for a second, but we know what's one, right?
Oh, the Halcyon's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the Halcyon.
Right. Okay.
I will say that before my honorable mentions were the other biggest spacefaring technology, Starlight Beacon falling, the literal flop.
Oh, you can't blame that on them.
But I think the Galactic Star Cruiser, like,
that was
had to
there was
Listen, if this was the 2021 Zebbies, the biggest flop would have been Lena So doing that damn fair. Let me get that straight.
No, because at least of those two ships between Starlight Beacon and the Halcyon, at least one of those has narrative value.
No, and my other runner-up was also Perrin Firtha. Again, Andor had many flops in it.
Yeah,
Like,
they had many characters that were flopping, but were just a flop.
But I think we can agree the Halcyon is the biggest flop.
Yeah,
Fly high,
absolutely.
Angel.
Wait. Give me a second. Oh god. Oh lord. Oh my god. Okay. So the Academy has decided to award biggest flop to the Halcyon Star Cruiser. And if we could all just have a moment of silence. Okay, that's appropriate.
Okay, I thought you were. I swear to God, I really thought you were gonna play the Vine Boom sound.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a Vine Boom.
I thought you were gonna play "In the Arms of the Angels" with Sarah McConnell.
I'm sorry to have disappointed you all with taps, but
We were all caught off guard, though, so I think
Wow.
that was a slay.
I would be shocked if you can't hear. I was muted in this call. I would be shocked if you could not hear me laughing from the other room while Mel was playing that. Wow, that was good. I am proud to present a category that we have titled Biggest Slay. Much like Biggest Flop, it is kind of amalgamous. It is probably going to be in universe. It might not be. Let's get into it. I bring to the table for Biggest Slay is Lula Talisola refusing knighthood to discover herself and acknowledge her feelings for Zine in the High Republic Adventures number 13. That I think that was just so unparalleled. It was such a good moment. It had really good parallels to Cantum Sai's story in Midnight Horizon. It tied up that storyline so well. And I'm just so excited to see where that goes. And I remember seeing that on the page and actually like gasping. It was just so good. You had to be there.
Daniel Jose Older, damn, I forgot that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Lula and Zine's like whole relationship, especially because like the forehead touch, that was my second runner-up. Or my runner-up, not my second runner-up.
Yeah. My biggest slay, we return to hashtag Cinta Sweep. I've mentioned it before, but Cinta Kaz not even using a tiny little blaster, but a fucking knife to kill a bitch during the final episode of Andor. I believe it's the final episode. It did something to me. I don't know if like there was something socially, there was always something horrible going on in the world, but there was something occurring at that time where I was like, this is healing for me. I do feel like there was something awful was occurring, and I was like, I don't know, watching this happen, and there were a lot of slay moments in that scene, don't get me wrong. The first part at Stonewall, that was great. But that specifically, that moment, especially because it was just, it's, we talked about Reva a little bit earlier, but like, I do feel like last year was the year of like letting women be angry and fucked up and crazy, and that not being a bad thing, because oftentimes in Star Wars it is demonized as a bad thing. And one thing I liked about for Reva's story was that like her anger was justified, and like she wasn't belittled in that kind of thing. And for Cinta, like her anger propels her, and there's nothing wrong with that. And she fucking stabs a bitch, a fascist in cold blood. And it's, you know, that video of that guy of that Nazi getting punched, that you just, every time you watch it to a different remix of a different song, it gets funnier every single time. It's like that. I could watch it over and over again and be like, yeah, this is my favorite moment in Star Wars. And I think, yes, Richard Spencer mentioned. I just think to cause your mind, it's just cool. And also because everything in TV is deliberate, and so again, it not being a blaster, but it being a stab wound. How often do we see somebody get fucking stabbed in Star Wars? Like, not by a lightsaber, by a knife. Not often. Anyways, I think she defines slay.
My biggest slay that I'm bringing is a moment in Convergence when our two star-crossed lovers from warring planets, Ziri and Fantu, get married. I don't know, like, I usually am not a supporter of straight people. No, that's not true. But they made me be like, maybe a man and woman ship is okay. And, you know, them, despite all their differences, like, learning, like, actually, I want to, like, help our planets, and also I really like you kind of moment with them. And, like, I don't know, they made me emotional. I like them.
Also, there is a part during that wedding where Ziri, in her wedding dress, like, their wedding is getting accosted by bounty hunters, and the city is, like, fucking flooding. And Ziri, like, they say their vows. Ziri pulls out a blaster and starts, like, shooting bitches. And then
she is so girl boss.
They kiss, and then he's like, I'm madly in love with you. And she's like, good. And then she goes and gets in her fighter, like, her ship, and starts gunning bitches down. Like, they are just everything. Everyone wants to be them, and they never will. I'm sorry to Anakin and Padme's wedding. That is by far going down to the bottom of the tier list of romantic weddings, because that was the fucking moment.
I would say that is my favorite wedding in Star Wars. There aren't that many weddings in Star Wars, but that one, it was so, it changed me as a person. It was so, like, I'm sorry, everybody who wants to do enemies to lovers, I want you to look at them and do that. Nothing else. Thank you.
Yeah, like, it had everything. It had romance, it had action. What more do you want from them?
My biggest slay of this year It is a well-known fact that I love a girl boss, and I love someone who's a little bit of a war criminal, but like not always entirely, which is why my biggest slay of this year for me was Mon Mothma's money laundering era. I really loved every single part of that experience. I loved watching her be like, yes, I love this artifact. However, here's also a check for an exorbitant amount of money. And I loved, too, that we had, like, a Olivia Pope scandal-esque moment where she's like, I'm caught. I have to start transferring funds. First of all, also, let me just say this. Olivia Pope in Star Wars win. Yes, we can make a Shonda Rhimes Star Wars show happen if we all speak loudly enough about it. But, yeah, no, her money laundering era was sliving. I really enjoyed it.
Her outfits, her car, her framing her husband.
The way that, yeah, God, okay, I know we've moved on from biggest flop, but you want to talk about flops? Wow. Let's talk about the husband. Did anyone get my Real Housewives reference?
I got it. No, because...
Let's talk about the husband.
Mon Mothma and Dorinda collab when?
Wait, no, because it would really be too good.
I know that they would get messy drunk together and Dorinda would say something unforgivable to her.
She does that. I mean, I was going to say she does that sober, and then I was like, Dorinda's not sober. There's really not.
Anyway, Mon Mothma, on the other hand, sober as a fucking judge. She has too much shit to worry about.
No, I really do. I enjoyed all of her sleigh outfits. I loved her sleigh car. I loved her laundering money through Luthen Rail's artifact business. I love it.
I mean, I agree also with, like, Mon Mothma in general is pretty slay, but I do want to argue the point that that whole scheme is a little bit flop because she does, go to her friend Tay to be like, help, because they're going to find out about my scheme. And then she does have to go along with the plan of child marriage, so.
That's true. I would say the sleigh is just like the fact that she's laundering money, I think kind of gives. And then the flop is, well, the consequences of her money laundering.
The biggest flop we forgot is the fact that Star Wars had two bitches both named Tay, spelled differently, introduced in like the same 2 weeks. So that's another. I should have said that for my biggest flop, but I just remembered that anyway.
So true. I was going to say kind of in the same schema of Noah of having something that begins perhaps as a sleigh. I think of it as a sleigh, but that definitely ends in flopdom. Is the Aldani heist, and specifically the part where they're up in the sky and then Nemec gets crushed very hard. I think it was so slay, and then I was like, oh, it's literally slay. All of the girlies are dying. Oh, wow.
Actually, in a lot of ways, it's literally flop, because that's what his legs kind of end up doing.
No!
Oh, wow.
Nemec, I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be fucked up if I was like, yeah, I didn't really feel that sad when Nemec died, but when Skeen died, I cried my eyes out like a baby. That's a joke. That is a joke, by the way, just so everyone knows. I just thought it'd be funny to say, I loved you in The Bear! And in that one movie Jennifer Lawrence is gonna be in, where she dates a 19-year-old or something. I know he's in it, and I saw an ad for it on TikTok. Anyway.
I'm happy that he's booked and busy, Good for him.
That's true.
Fucked up white guys need representation.
Do you think
it's him? It's him and Kraglin.
That's my new power couple. Are you fucking kidding me?
They could play brothers.
Period. Yeah, that's the brother. Sorry. That's the brother who he talked about. Who was like, "Yeah, my brother killed himself," and then that wasn't true.
Oh shit!
No, shut up. That was fucked up. Anyway,
is it Jess?
No, I think we're done.
Wait. So our biggest slays are Ollie. Yours
Mine was Lula. Lula not accepting knighthood.
Yours is Lula not accepting knighthood. Mine is Sintak's stab moment. Jess is the wedding. Damn, that was good. What else?
Noah was Mon Mothma's money laundering.
Money laundering.
And mine was Karis Nemec getting his shit rocked. And not in a fun way.
No, it wasn't.
Damn.
To be fair, I have it written. Well, okay, actually, can I revise that? Wait. You know what? I have 2 things written here. This is like my La La Land moment. I do have my biggest slay, actually, for realsies. Comac Vitus running into the woods.
I thought about bringing that up for flop.
Yeah.
Real. That was both a flop and a slay.
Yeah.
Very versatile.
He was living his truth. He was living his truth. Is it a flop? Is it a slay? Who can say?
Why not
It
both?
was a flop for his friends who were like, "Where are you going?"
It was a flop for him who's running into the woods and then being like, "Oh fuck, I'm in the woods. I don't have survival skills."
Oh god, do I have to eat worms now?
Comac eating
He's sort of Yellow Jacket's core in that way.
Comac eating worms in the woods, not realizing that freaking Coronet City is like a mile and a half to the south.
No, because every night he can like see the lights and he goes, "Wow, what a beautiful natural phenomenon that is. I have no idea what that's about." And he's like goes back to bed. I'm gonna say I'm okay positioning Comac as running into the woods as my biggest slay of this year. That was one of the funniest things that happened because I remember I was reading Midnight Horizon, and one thing I do is I will basically live text as I read a book or watch a show or whatever. And I was getting down to that part, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on with like Wreath's knighthood and all this cool shit?" And then it was like, and then Comac ran into the woods, and I was like, "What? You cannot be serious! He just goes away." And everyone was like, "Yes, yeah, he's gone. He's in the wilderness."
I love when Phantom is like, "Comac, I did not mean that. That was not what you should have gotten from my story." And he was like, "No. Goodbye."
I'm gonna vote for Jess's. Actually, the Feniri wedding was like, it was the definition of slay. Like, there's like New York's Hottest Club had everything. Like, I couldn't have asked for more. I think that has to be my vote.
It's so funny because I'm all in for Mon Mothma money laundering. Because I'm like, Mon Mothma has been so ever present in Star Wars, but it is only now that she is really getting a moment to do her own fucking thing and be a hashtag main character. And like her being like, and how am I gonna do that? By money laundering. Take that, liberals. Real.
See, I was gonna vote for Ollie's because I'm just like, I love. You bring up a good point, and also let's hear it for our lesbians, Zine and Lula. But you also bring up a good point about Mon Mothma. She's been in Star Wars for a long time and does deserve the spotlight. So now I'm conflicted.
I am too, because this was my thought originally. I was like, okay, like which one of these things, not to say that Succession is all around slay, but which one of these seems like it could be a plotline in Succession, and I'd believe it. The Fanry wedding, obviously, like that's almost played. Like there was already the Con Willow wedding. So I was like, okay, well maybe like Lula and Zine. I don't know if this show is gonna be talking about young lesbian love and like
why are we talking about Succession?
Because I want to say that Mon Mothma money laundering does feel like it could be a Succession thing.
Like
and
that
I
could
think
happen.
That's hilarious.
That could happen to Tom Lambskins.
Exactly. However, I do think also Greg running into the woods could also happen.
I completely agree. I also want to say, like, Mon Mothma's flop at money laundering eventually, is she not sort of embodying the spirit of Our Lady of Girl Failures, Shiv Roy, in that moment? Like,
yeah.
she has a plan. She seems like she's got it under control. It completely blows up in her face, and then she's totally fucked.
Yeah, I think I'm actually...
We did say that, like, it may be more flop than slay, but then I was like, okay, but maybe the slay is that she turns it around. She turns it around.
That's true. She does turn it around.
But you also have to understand.
Except for the whole maybe having to marry off her daughter thing.
Like, okay, in the way that camp has failed seriousness, slay is, in another sense, for girl failures, the slay is found in their floppery, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's something so funny and powerful about a girl failure character, and Mon Mothma entering her girl failure era after being like thoroughly involved in money laundering. That's kind of cervacious to me personally, and I think Susan Sontag would agree.
I mean, again, yeah, I guess what truly is a slay? Because, yeah, there's times when a lot of the times they're flops, so we're like saying, oh, slay. But we all know that she does kind of flop because eventually she is going to have to, like, go on the run from the Republic, or the Empire, as we see in Rebels when they have to go save Mon Mothma. So obviously something not great is going to happen with her little plan, because they're going to figure out, like, oh, you're working with the rebels. But yeah, I'm going to give it to the queen. Let's go, Mom Mothma.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Mon, you deserve this. And with that, I would be so honored to present the Zebby for Biggest Slay to Mon Mothma's money laundering. Everyone give it up for Mon.
Nice.
Shout out to Mon. Good job, Mon.
I don't know. This is gonna be about to be a so like niche TikTok reference. I don't know if you saw that video of that person like doing like basically like dressing up as different people that you see like winning Oscars. And, like,
my God,
Paloma
yes.
Diamond.
Paloma Diamond.
Yeah.
Paloma Diamond.
Yeah, Mon Mothma is my Paloma Diamond.
Paloma Diamond, you guys, if you watched her documentary, you know, like, she was not in a good place after she lost the Golden Globe, but I think she deserved it. And I'll die on that hill. I really will.
I'd like to present the award for Best Episode. Obviously, this is taking out all of our print media. This is going to be out of The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Tales of the Jedi, and Andor. I guess I'll start with me. Once again, I will be going with #SintaSweep. And her slay moment that I just talked about happens in the final episode of Season 1 of Andor, Rick's Road. Now, there are many other things to love about that episode. I believe that's when we finally hear Nemik's manifesto. Is that the episode where we actually hear the thing? So, like, we have his little monologue in that. We have the riot. We have so many... I believe the moment with Bix that you talked about earlier is in this episode. I mean, there are many slay moments of Andor in general, but I feel like a lot of them happen in this one. This episode, and now, I picked this episode because I felt like the obvious answer was One Way Out. It was just a great episode, don't get me wrong, but this was the episode where I was like, wow. I felt like that after One Way Out as well, but like, after this, I was like, gasp, whatever. And I just felt, you know, I know that Andor is going to feature heavily tonight, but shit banged.
The way I was not going to say One Way Out. Like you said, oh,
yeah, totally.
One Way Out.
Yeah, that's stupid. Who would say that?
Anyway. I mean, I also am bringing an Andor episode. But the episode I was bringing was The Eye. I mean, sorry we lost all the Aldani girlies except Cinta and Vel. But like, it was very, I don't know, something about that episode got me. That was the episode that had me like on the edge of my seat the entire episode, where it just kept escalating and I was like, oh my god, get me off this ride. I'm so stressed out watching this episode. But I enjoyed that a lot. Again, the moment when the Eye was actually going on with all the cool comets shooting across the sky was a really cool effect and visual for us viewers. It was really sad that Nemik got crushed, but you know, sometimes you gotta have your flops too with your slays, as we discussed very recently a few minutes ago. But yeah, that's my vote for best episode.
I am gonna do the obvious answer, or Claudia's purported obvious answer, which is One Way Out. I don't know. Not to say that I find the rest of Star Wars television to be deeply disappointing most of the time. However, because I don't like, I like a lot of it, obviously, but like, they really put crack in that episode. The direction was incredible. The score was I first of all, I could talk about the score of Andor for like literal years. It's really too good. But like, I don't know. The plot was so good, and every single moment of the episode contributed to the story that it wanted to tell. And many of you other Star Wars shows, I'm looking at you, The Mandalorian, cannot say the same, and you don't prioritize the time that you have, and so you have an ultimately less like put together episode. But like, and Andor does that brilliantly, but like One Way Out specifically for me was just like, I remember like my jaw was on the floor the entire time I was watching it. It was such a good episode of television.
Well, fuck you, stupid losers. I think that the best episode from 2022 was the Tribes of Tatooine from Book of Boba Fett. I will stand by this. This will be the hill I die on. That's like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, visual piece of Star Wars media. There's something that is so special about that episode. You know, there are a few moments where I kind of had to pause and be like, okay, we're kind of falling into some weird Western stereotypes about indigenous people. I'm looking at you, the blizzard that went up the book's nose, Boba's nose.
The book of Book Fett.
The book of Book Fett. Anyways, but that episode is so special to me, and like is just, it set something up so beautiful and slay and awesome, and then was like, and then what if we just shat all over that? Just took a big old duke, and that really hurt. So yeah, take that as you will.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was, I remember watching that episode and being like, damn, this shit bangs! Like, the reason that the rest of the Book of Boba Fett sucked so bad was because that was such a high point. Damn.
I agree completely. I think it's funny, Tribes of Tatooine was my my runner up. I did pick One Way Out. If nothing for the chilling monologue that Andy Serkis gives. I'm really sad that no one brought him his best performance, because he really served. I think because a lot of his professional work, at least a lot of what people know him for, is CGI and is like motion capture, which he's amazing at, and is definitely a very like is still acting in all of its in all of its senses. But I think that people often forget how compelling of an actor he is when he's just playing him, or when he's not, you know, completely animated. But I thought that Kino Loy's character arc getting wrapped up the way that it did was really interesting. And I really loved One Way Out, seeing Cassian's development as a leader in his community and as a revolutionary, really. Not to say that he wasn't before, but this was when he was like taking the reins on being an organizer. And I think that was really, really powerful. I also liked how it positioned him not necessarily as the guy who is leading the charge, not necessarily as the guy who is doing all of the talking, but as the guy who is making that possible, which is a really interesting role and is a really cool way for him to be. I just think that was it really highlighted some of the best things about Cassian, and like Noah said, it was paced perfectly for where it was in the show. I think it really set us on a really great course for the remaining episodes.
I would like to interject because nobody mentioned it. My second choice I'd like to give an honorable mention to, which was the episode of Tales of the Jedi. I believe it's called Practice Makes Perfect. The one where that is the one where Anakin is training Ahsoka basically to survive Order 66. I choke sob cried like a baby during it. I didn't think it would affect me that much, and then it did. I wrote a whole article about how much I liked Tales of the Jedi, and that episode specifically meant a lot to me. Also, Caleb Doom is in that episode. Great times. I don't know. It was very well done. It was very shocking. It was very what wasn't like nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. And I was like, damn, bitch, you were able to make me feel a real emotion about Order 66 again. Anyways, I man, you made a really compelling argument for the Tribes of Tatooine. I do feel like One Way Out was very emblematic. Like, the girlies all, like, when everybody thinks about a Star Wars that came out last year, the girlies think of One Way Out. Like, one could make a compelling argument for that.
I do see Tribes of Tatooine as well. I do really like that because it was, without a doubt, the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett. And I actually enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett. I think it had a lot of problems, and I think that it's, again, as Jess has said, I don't want to try to claim their spot as Jon Favreau's #1 arch nemesis, but I will be Jess's henchman when they go on that crusade, because I think that so much of that show had like a lot of potential, and when it was good, it was really good. Like, Tribes of Tatooine is one of the reasons that I still claim that I like the show, but then when it was bad, it was like really stupid. So I'm like, I almost want to reward that one time where it did something really magnificent.
Yeah, Tribes of Tatooine was also like something one of the episodes I'd considered for best episode. So I will give it to Tribes of Tatooine because, yeah, it was the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett. And like what Ollie was saying, thank you, Ollie, for supporting me and my Jon Favreau hate. It reminds me that, yeah, there was a time when I deeply did enjoy the Book of Boba Fett, and that there are good moments in the Book of Boba Fett. So, and just like how we were like, we should give Mon Mothma her time in the sun, I think we should give the Book of Boba Fett, but not Jon Favreau, for Tamora Morrison. And fuck, how come I cannot pronounce names and remember people's names? Fennec's actress, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Ming-Na Wen.
I don't know why I talk about her with her first name as if I know her.
That's your bestie, actually.
She's a lot like Beyonce way.
But we should reward them, and also remember it's AAPI month. And they were not at Star Wars night, none of the nights, and I think that was a crime too. Like, why do you guys keep doing this to Boba and Fennec? I'm coming for y'all. Ricky Rat, I'm coming for you.
I will say, as much as I love One Way Out, as much as I love all of Andor, I do agree with the sentiment of like letting the Book of Boba Fett have its moment in the spotlight, because that was a really good episode of television. And I remember watching that episode and being like, oh, Slayful, we're going to go in a very fun direction. And then obviously we didn't. But yeah, I'm cool awarding Tribes of Tatooine as the best episode. I think it deserves that award. I think that the performances given in that were really good, and I enjoyed them.
I would also say when Jess brought up the bringing up Tem as a great performance, that was also one of his best episodes.
I agree completely.
I think we can put a pin in this one.
The Zebby for best episode of 2022 goes to the Tribes of Tatooine from the Book of Boba Fett.
Congratulations, Book of Boba Fett. Congratulations.
Yay. Good job,
Yay.
directed.
And Paloma Diamond, if you're listening.
Okay, also follow up for this next category. I got a feeling almost all of us are going to have the same answer. So can we just say everyone say their same thing at the same time? I know that's going to be audibly terrible, but I think it'd be funny.
Like, yeah,
I think
Let me at least introduce.
Yeah, let Jess introduce.
Yeah.
So this next category is for best book of 2022. And some of the others think we're all going to have the same choice. Like the same thing that we're bringing to the table. So we have decided we are going to count to 3 and all say our answers at the same time. So, is everyone ready?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Midnight
Horizon.
Midnight Horizon.
You didn't even read that. Don't joke.
I
Don't
know.
play.
I know. Wanted to
Listen,
say something.
Comment Hunt. We can't be doing this. Also, I did get Brotherhood mixed up with Padawan, and I was like, well, at least Orla Jareni's in it, but I'm a dumbass, and she's not in Brotherhood. I wish she was. I wish she was in every book. Fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think
we can't use that. That's such haters.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say Brotherhood with hatred in my heart. I thought
know.
it was fine the 3 chapters that I read.
Anyway, Midnight Horizon wins. This book changed me. It changed who I am as a person. It has everything. It has gay people in it, which, it's great. You can put a mark down for gay people. But I also think that it tells so many complex stories and wraps up so many narratives, but it's also not like only for the people who read High Republic Adventures. Like, you can enjoy it if you haven't read High Republic Adventures. You can enjoy it if you have only read High Republic Adventures. Like, there's so much in that book, and there's stuff for everybody. It talks about how you deal with being an adult in a world that is constantly changing, and you constantly feel yourself disillusioned with where you are. It talks about how you can handle your interpersonal relationships when everything around you is, when you feel so lost and everything around you is going to shit. But it also talks about levity and childhood and how you experience like growing up and different ways people experience like depression and disillusionment with their lives. And it also has Yoda in it, and it made me love Yoda. Gotta be so real. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I was a Yoda hater before Midnight Horizon, and now I'm not. And I talked about how it made me cry. And also Comac running into the woods. You know how the impact that has had on this podcast. I will also say, like, we talked so much about how we really liked Andor last year, and how it embodies how like Star Wars is about communities coming together and defending themselves, whatever. That is a big theme in Midnight Horizon as well. Like, it's not just all the Jedi shit as well. The stuff on Corellia is really cool, but also Jess was the only one who picked something different.
Yeah, that's why when you all were like, I know we all picked the same thing. Me, the little monkey puppet that's like giving the side eye, like, no, I did not actually pick the same thing as you guys. But I will also just, concede and give it to Midnight Horizon because, like, Midnight Horizon is a very good book.
Can you say what
I just really liked Convergence.
Yeah, no, because here's my other thing. I really did have more of a struggle than I conveyed here picking between Midnight Horizon and Convergence, because I adore both of those books. I think that, like, the reason that I chose Midnight Horizon above Convergence is because one of the things I like about Convergence is its, like, sisterhood with Cataclysm. And I think, like, the two of those together are super, super impactful for me. But Midnight Horizon just in and of itself has so many storylines and so many things that it brings all together that I really love.
Yeah, you bring up a good point where Midnight Horizon can stand on its own. Convergence shines best when you do pair it with Cataclysm.
I would also say I had a struggle because I really, really enjoyed Convergence, but also Padawan came out last year, and I enjoyed that book far more than I could talk about that book all day. I loved it so much. So when I was like, oh, my bestie girl, Midnight Horizon, and then I saw that fucking Convergence and Padawan came out last year too, I was like, damn, the hits just
It was
keep
a good
coming.
year for books.
Yeah, I will also say, for an honorable mention, Stories of Jedi and Sith was quite good, and that did include the short story that canonized that Luke Skywalker is gay. So I almost put that in biggest slay. So I just want to say, also just a really fun and slay anthology that I loved very much. But yeah, Midnight Horizon, no one's ever gonna be you.
Yeah, I know I did jokingly, well, not jokingly, I did say that we should all say it at the same time because we're going to have the same answer. I will say something that I don't talk about it much just because, like, I read it and then was like, oh my gosh, there were so many other things happening. I also really liked Mission to Disaster, which is an unsung, unspoken of book. I just think that it has some of the best Imre Canteros moments, has some of the best Honesty Weft moments. As Honesty Weft stan, I had to give it a nod.
I agree 100%. That book is so fucking good.
I would say the pairing of Test of Courage and Mission to Disaster, I guess, and you would put Out of the Shadows in there as well. Phenomenal. I also recently started reading the Sonostaros comic. All I'm gonna say is you pair all that shit together, it's fucking phenomenal. Justine Ireland is cooking. I mean, she's always cooking, but she's cooking in just so many ways. Also, Mission Disaster. Vern, I am thinking of you. Vernestra Rowe, I am thinking of you being in The Acolyte. Anyway.
Yeah, same. Vern, girl, my bestie, my good time boy. Anyway, what is it, Claudia?
I also, when I was reading those books, I, had an idea of what Dalna looked like, but now we know a lot more about Dalna in Phase 2, and I almost appreciate Mission to Disaster more. Also, Mission to Disaster is where we meet Diva Lompop, isn't it? I want to say?
No, she's not in that book.
Yeah, is she Test of Courage?
She is?
Oh, she is.
And Diva Lompop? Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. She is! Wow,
literally,
never mind.
That's how she gets connected to the Staros family, is that because she initially is one of the people who's holding Avon fucking
Holy
captive.
Shit, I can't believe I completely forgot about that. Wow, I need to be burned at the stake.
You are not a Staros family stan.
No, I'm honestly...
Anyway.
I deserve death.
Anyways.
Officially now, the winner of the Zebby for Best Book is Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older. DJO will
Congrats, send
Daniel. In the mail.
Yeah, please.
We don't actually have Zebbies. I'm sorry, Daniel, if you're listening.
Get in touch. We'll work something out. Have your people call our people.
Alright, so for our last category that we're voting on, because the true final one is audience choice, this is Unsung Hero. And the unsung hero of Star Wars in 2022 that I would like to bring tonight is Luthen's Wiglet. I feel like not enough people appreciate.
Oh my god!
Like not enough people. I feel that not enough people appreciate just how strong she had to be to remain where she was through so much turmoil and strife, and I feel that she deserves that recognition. Thank you.
I feel like I'm gonna pass out.
Wow.
I'm so happy that I got you guys with that one, because I was sitting here trying to come up with an unsung hero, and I was like, it's Luthen's Wiglet, obviously, and I was like, I hope that no one else. Okay. Also, and this is why, if any of you were paying attention earlier, when Mel was like, I think we all picked the same thing, I made a face. And that was because I thought we were moving on to the unsung hero category. And I was like, did we all pick Luthen's Wiglet as the unsung hero?
Wouldn't have been so fucked up if we did. And I was like,
that would have been incredible.
That's so crazy, Noah. I actually also wrote Luthen's Wiglet. I just almost said Noah's Wiglet. I just almost called Luthen Noah. That was dark. Anyway, you guys are a lot alike.
This doesn't come off my head. Yet. I haven't experienced full twinked up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't think you're balding if that's what you think I meant.
Ollie said, hi, bald. Deleted bald.
Okay.
Quit the podcast, bald.
Okay, 5 head, let's do it. Okay, serving male pattern baldness realness.
Okay,
Megamind. Oh my god.
Ollie, please. Or is it Mel?
It's Mel.
It's my turn. Okay. Well, anyways, I have a serious answer. It's Reva Savander, obviously. She... Once again, I said it earlier in this episode, I could give less of a fuck about Kenobi if not for Reva. Reva is the one thing that's holding it together for me, holding it down. I feel like she's very emblematic of the year. Yeah, literally, she's the Luthen's wiglet of that show. Like she had to like she was given such a hard task and she managed to do it.
She's the Luthen's wiglet of people.
I fucking hate this.
My nominee for Unsung Hero, the person I would like to bring to the table this evening, who I think not enough of the bitches are talking about him, is Astala Maru holding Starlight Beacon together by the fucking skin of his teeth. My good bitch, if he was on the bottom half of Starlight Beacon, I guarantee to you that shit would not have fallen. At the very least, Stellan Gios would still be with us.
And Yara would be both halves.
If you had put him in exactly, if you had put him and Leox Jossie in the same room, they would have worked that shit out. Leox was my second choice, but I was like, the girlies love him.
Leox was also my second
I love
choice.
that. But no, I think about how he was like, I think about that comic because High Republic 2021. I love that comic. It's so good. I love all of the characters in it, and I think having a character like Astala Maru, in general, I just thought he was a very balancing presence, but especially, like, you did not expect him to suddenly be like, I'm gonna hold this entire station together myself so hard that all the other Jedi are gonna feel it in the Force when I fucking explode in a ball of fire. I loved that moment. It was probably one of the closest times I ever came to, like, actually crying during a comic was in High Republic 15, when he told Avar to leave. And he was like, okay, I gotta get my girl boss out of here. You gotta go, baby mama. We can't be doing this. Like, I just, that, and his fucking teacup all shattered and fucked up. The girlies did not talk about that enough.
The teacup did make me cry.
I just gotta say, I think he could have stopped it. He could have stopped it if given the tools, if he had time to prepare. I still think he's alive. I'm delusional. I don't actually, but I will engage in delusion.
In my final act of #SintaSweep, I am bringing Cinta Kaz for Unsung Hero. I say unsung because I have been singing her praises this whole time, but Star Wars themselves have not been singing her praises. She's not being top billed as she needed to be. There's not enough merchandise. I need Cinta Kaz capitalism. I mean, I know that goes against, like, kind of the ethos of all of it, so maybe I don't, but, like, she is unsung, okay? And we know that she has spent her whole life dedicated to the rebellion to the point where her partner is like, come away from the window. Like, she has given everything to this fucking cause, and we haven't even seen the half of it. And we are not singing her fucking praises enough, okay? Yes, we gave Mon Mothma her slay era, whatever, as biggest slay, whatever, that's fine. But Cinta Kaz has been holding it the fuck down on the fucking front lines. And this is #SintaSweep.
So true. For me, I could jokingly say, like, a bunch of different characters, and I'm not serious about them. Like, part of me was like, haha, what if I said Marcia Monroe? That is not true. That is inherently false. But no, my actual answer is Cantum Psy. I mean, did their story make Comac Vitus run into the woods? Yes. But also, they're, like we discussed earlier, for best character. I don't know, there's Cantum in Midnight Horizon. They're something.
I think you're saying that Cantum Psy is slay, which they
Yes.
absolutely are.
Yeah. They also like they were also like, yeah, and I worked through my emotions and I fucking held it down and I slayed the House of Boots on Corellia, and what about it? Like they really just, they're always slaying. I don't know. Luthen's wiglet made me laugh so fucking hard.
I think that Luthen's wiglet deserves it only because, I mean, she stayed on. You can say a lot of things, but Luthen's wiglet was unreproachable.
No, I will
To be fair,
okay,
you
but at that
canonically
point,
see it removed.
voluntarily removed.
Yeah.
Voluntarily, but like Luthen's wiglet is like the U.S. Postal Service, like not rain nor shine nor cover of darkness was keeping her from doing her goddamn job until Luthen was like, "I'm good, I'm gonna take it off."
See, as much as I love Luthen's wiglet, I will argue on behalf of Cinta Kaz. I think that she is so cool. Like, she has so many, like, objectively cool moments, but she is also, again, like, so much of the plan in Andor works because of her. So many of the things they do work because she did the job she was supposed to do. So not only was she, like, and I think part of her whole thing is that she's kind of unsung. Like, she is on the ground, she is the soldier, she is doing things. She is the definition of an unsung hero. So I would argue that she is the best fit for this. And the fact, too, in real life, like, people talk about Cinta, people love Cinta, but, like, she does not get all of the vibes and all of the clout that she deserves. So I would love to bestow her that honor. Also, it feels a little fucked up that we have said Vel's name like one time in this entire recording. Sorry, white women.
But no, I also agree with what Ollie's saying and what Claudia has presented about our girl Cinta, and I will give it to her. She was out there in the trenches doing what needed to be done, even if it was a tough job, and she was doing the work that some people did not have the heart to do. Like, I love you, Vel, but yeah, you kind of had moments where you were like hesitating, whereas Cinta was like, there is no time to hesitate. We have to do this now. Is that also because she has trauma from the Empire killing her family? Probably. I hope we get more of her in Andor season 2. I mean, we are, but I hope, like, backstory-wise, we get more of her.
To be fair, I was very swayed by the Estella Mario argument. I was like, damn.
Thank you. Justice for my king.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I really had to take a moment to think about Estella versus Cinta, but I do think I am gonna go with Cinta. I think that it is time for Cinta sweep.
Yeah, and Estella's not a lesbian. Not yet, at least.
Yes, he is.
Maybe he was.
Maybe
I feel like
one
maybe
day.
he was at one point.
Sorry to Luthen's wiglet.
Do you guys remember in Light of the Jedi?
R.I.P. Luthen's wiglet.
Do you guys remember in Light of the Jedi when Estella Maru gets she-heard? That was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Happy, yeah, and you guys are coming for a canonically transgender man and not voting for him, even though I'm also voting for Cinta.
Oh, it's because,
anyway,
AAPI.
Hashtag Cinta sweep.
AAPI time.
Mm-hmm.
The official winner of the Zebby for Unsung Hero goes to Cinta Kaz. Congratulations, Cinta Sweep.
We did it, Joe.
Did it.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Yay, Cinta. Vel is cheering. I know Vel is somewhere cheering.
She's like, that's my girlfriend.
Estella Maru, Cinta Kaz, blonde girlfriend.
Real.
Not that we're the same type.
No, because I know that
White girl boss.
I know that Avar and Vel would have crazy beef, but they wouldn't know why. They would just have beef with each other for some reason. They'd be like, I don't like her. They're too alike, and that's the problem.
I'm so excited right now.
I'm so excited.
Okay, guys. Here we go. We're in the final stretch, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen.
Are you gonna be sharing the screen?
Of
Oh my
course I
god, I'm
am.
so excited.
Oh, good God. You know I am. You know I got that motherfucking thing on me. What are you guys seeing?
Wow. I see a beautiful presentation.
I see it.
This is so beautiful. I love the colors. I love the sparkles.
I love the
Thank
font.
you.
Yeah, this gives.
All right, so welcome to the Glub Shadow of the Year award. This is an audience choice award awarded to the character that people thought was the biggest Glub Shadow in Star Wars in the year of 2022. We had a total of 267 submissions for this. However, only 233 of them counted because so many of you did not read that it was for 2022 and submitted characters who were not in anything in 2022. So,
Oh my god.
the nominees are, these are the top 5 submissions that we received. Ruskit Melshi, Cobb Vanth, Max Rebo, Geode, and Nemec.
Wow, they hate women.
I know.
Cobb Vanth Nation, thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for your dedication.
They also
it means
hate
the world to me to see my
Asian
man up on this
people.
screen.
Yeah, hashtag love loses.
Real.
Mel has presented us with a very beautiful PowerPoint that we will be posting a little video with, and I want to see it.
Okay, so coming in at number 5, Ruskit Melshi with 9 votes.
Wow. This is incredible.
He got a total of 3.9% of votes. Congrats,
Wow.
Melshi.
Damn.
Coming in at number 4, Karis Nemec with 9 votes.
Hey.
Mel has used a picture of him when he was getting his body crushed on this slide.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Sorry. Woo.
Also, this font is taking me out.
I think it's
I
so
tried really
good.
hard on it. I tried really hard on this.
Wow.
Coming in number 3, Geode, who also got 9 votes.
Fucking shit.
I love that for
That's
you, Geode.
fucking shit.
He looks so good.
I know.
Ruskit Melshi and Karis Nemec beat by a fucking rock.
I mean, they all got the same amount of
Yeah.
votes.
Technically, they
Okay.
tied.
Okay.
Technically, they tied.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but also, a fucking rock is a good description of Geode because he is a rock that fucks.
Yeah, he
So
does.
true.
He's a fucking
That's why
rock.
he has to be paired up with Leox, who will be like, nope, we are not getting pussy today, Geode. No, we are not.
Not getting pussy today, Geode.
Right.
Can we have that on a sticker?
I want
Can
that.
we get that?
Wait, can we have that as our RuPalp's official t-shirt?
Not getting pussy today,
A t-shirt
Geode.
that says RuPalp's Pod Race. We're not getting pussy today, Geode.
Oh, I thought it would say Pussy Hunter Geode.
God.
He doesn't need to hunt.
Okay,
I mean,
He doesn't need to hunt. It comes to him. He attracts it.
it was real. Okay, are you guys ready for number 2? Coming in
Yes.
second place is Max Rebo with
I thought he was gonna
Also, the way that
With
Melshi shows
13
up
votes.
for the way Melshi shows up for a split second in the animation on the slide.
yeah. Wait, okay. Look at Max Rebo, the one on the right. Let's just go back real quick.
wow.
Okay,
So
sorry.
he got,
so
what,
Max
13?
Rebo got 13 votes, and that was 5.6% of votes. And finally, you know what that means. The Glub Shadow of the Year is Cobb Vanth. He got 17 votes.
That's right. Okay, no, because this literally means I won the Glub Shadow
Why did you put
Olympics.
the
You guys
picture
have no
of him,
idea.
like, after he got fucking shot.
The picture.
Because
guys,
he looks so
I
good there.
have-
Look at his hair.
Guys, I have to say this for our listeners. the tableau, the background is a picture of Cobb Vanth curled up on the ground after getting shot. In the foreground, there's an oval with Cobb Vanth's face in it, a heart with Cobb Vanth's little face in it, and a little flower with him in the back to take at the end of Book of Boba Fett in it.
This is a work of art. I feel like this is what the inside of Noah's brain looks like at all times.
Guys, also,
You're not okay. Font included. You're absolutely right.
I think that someone may have botted Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, I do think it might have been an inside job, but
And it was Noah?
Would you like to know?
I had nothing to do with that.
I wanted to ask Mel, were there any funny submissions that you would like to highlight?
I would like to. Here are just some honorable mentions. Ones that I think were really important that I need to mention. Someone said the lizard that went up Boba Fett's nose. We also had three different people identify. You know the guy in Andor who rings the bell. So they all had different ways to describe what that gentleman's kind of position in life was. And one person described him as the Time Grappler, which is his canonical name and role.
Whoa.
His Time Grappler.
That's metal.
And then, let me see. Was there anything else that
There
was
was
really
one-
good?
there
We
was
got
one-
a lot of trans Twi'leks.
There was one that specifically described them as, quote, those cunty Twi'leks from the background in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. I'm surprised that what's her name from the bar in the Book of Boba Fett wasn't nominated more.
Oh, yeah, Garsa Fwip got 1.7% of the votes, so 4 people voted for her.
Okay. I'm glad. Also, female Tusken.
Rachel?
Tusken warrior
Yes.
woman. She was
Rachel.
Yeah.
One I will also say... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when I was like counting up the votes, I saw that someone did name the Tusken woman by name, called her Rachel, and was like, I was like, who the fuck is Rachel? And Ollie and I had to go back to see that was a joke we made about the Tusken warrior woman being named Rachel.
One that I also loved, an honorable mention, was someone who put core Plouth and in parentheses #love loses. That, I think about that a lot. That was so good. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the Zebbies, everyone.
We did it.
Damn. Thank you so much for joining us for our 2nd anniversary. We also just officially hit 100,000 downloads, so we are celebrating that milestone as well. Thank you for listening to us all this time. It's a little crazy. This is a little crazy. We started this in a group. We started this podcast literally in a group chat, and within less than 24 hours, we're like, let's make a podcast. And now we've been friends for 2 years, and you people listen to us. So the shit is crazy. So thank you for listening. We really hope you enjoyed the Zebbies. Tell us whether you liked it or hated it. I don't know. Send us your feedback, I guess. We will be posting photos of our purple carpet outfits, the Glup Shido Awards, all that kind of stuff on social media. So please look out for that. And our episodes are dropping every other Sunday until the Ahsoka series comes out. Make sure for all of these updates and all this extra stuff, you are following us on TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at RuPalp's Pod Race. If you want to ask us a question, send it to our TikTok Q&A, our Tumblr Ask Box, or email us at rupalpspodrace@gmail.com. If you really love the show, since we've been around for 2 years, if you've had a little chuckle, please rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, Overcast, whatever platform allows for a rating or a review. Do it if you haven't done it already. And tell a friend, like a multi-level marketing scheme. It really, really helps. And may the force be with you. And don't trip it up.
Waka waka.